My name is Hilary Bevan and I run a VAT consultancy business, Bevan VAT Consultancy. I actually went to Hummersknott School from 1991 to 1996, so quite a long time ago now, but since then I worked at an accountancy firm in Stockton for 20 years where I qualified as an accountant and as a chartered tax advisor, and in 2018 I set up my own company, Bevan VAT Consultancy, to offer VAT help and advice to firms of accountants, businesses, charities, individuals, anybody who needs pointing in the right direction when it comes to VAT. And it's an absolutely wonderful job. I love it. It's so interesting because you get to go out and see so many different businesses and how they work and get to the nitty-gritty of how they do their invoicing, what sort of supplies they're making. And quite often you're around with a new business, seeing them starting off and making a new product, trying to work out what VAT rate it should be, or buying a new building that they're going to convert. So it's really exciting helping people get new enterprises off the ground. And when COVID hit, it was obviously a massive shock to all of us. I rent this lovely office in Business Central in Darlington, and all of a sudden had to pack up and take everything home. And I am very lucky in that I can work from anywhere as long as I've got a laptop with the internet and the big book of VAT legislation. I can really work anywhere, but a lot of the job does involve talking to people because you've got to understand a business fully to understand what the VAT implications might be. So that first month of lockdown was horrible. Most of my clients are firms of accountants and they all had to be busy doing furlough claims for their clients and helping them with cash flow statements, applying for loans. Plus they were trying to look after their own staff and get used to them working from home. Most of them are in these big old buildings and have been there over 100 years. So suddenly going from that to having to have 100 staff working at home was quite a challenge for them. So that first month of lockdown was very quiet for me. I also do a lot of work that's connected with HM Revenue and Customs, HMRC. So they'd sent all their staff home, furloughed everybody, cancelled all of the visits that I was supposed to be attending to help my clients with, cancelled all of the paused all of the investigations they were in the middle of. And so it was a really, really quiet month or two at the beginning of lockdown, and it was quite scary. But I used the time to study. Obviously, we've had lots of changes coming in with Brexit, so I managed to get a grant to pay for some training in relation to customs and cross-border transactions. So I spent the time studying. I became a director of Darlington Business Club, so spent a lot of time doing networking with them virtually. And that word there, virtually, that's the key. That's what's turned this around and brought so many positives from it. Darlington Business Club, for example, before lockdown, met once a month, first Wednesday of every month, a physical meeting at the rugby club, and we'd all have a buffet, have a presentation, have a chat, get to know people. And all of a sudden we were faced with the fact that couldn't happen. So me and the two existing directors have worked really hard. We've actually upped it to 4 meetings a month, all of which are now online. And we have them on different days of the week and different times of the day, because obviously some people were homeschooling, some people were furloughed, some people were working a million hours. Everyone had different circumstances, so we tried to vary it so more people could attend. And that's something we've decided to keep even after the lockdown rules change and we can go back to physical meetings, because a lot of people have said they really appreciate that. They don't have an hour's round trip for a 2-hour meeting or something like that. And the same, the VAT practitioners group that I'm the treasurer of, we normally meet in London once a quarter for a council meeting, and it's a 7-hour round trip for me for a 2-hour meeting. And obviously you don't mind because you have a little mooch around the shops, but it's easier not to have to do that journey, and it means more people can attend the meeting because they don't have to take a whole day off work for it. And then for my work, again, the virtual meetings, being able to use Zoom and Teams to see people has actually been a massive eye-opener for me. You know, the technology was always there, but there was never any need to use it because I would just go and see somebody and have a meeting with them. But I've now picked up 2 clients in Hampshire, 2 in London, 1 in Essex and 1 in Scotland, just because we've actually been able to have virtual meetings and email and see each other, and it doesn't matter that we're not on the doorstep. So I had a meeting with a VAT specialist in Hertfordshire, me in Darlington, an accountant in North Wales and the accountant's client in South Wales, and we all were able to have a virtual meeting and talk through what needed to be done and resolve the VAT issues. And even though we technically could have always done that, none of us would have ever dreamed of it before lockdown. We would have just tried to arrange a physical meeting somewhere in the middle, and it would have had a lot of wasted travelling time. And the same with webinars and online learning. I've always been interested in training people and helping people with VAT advice, but by the time you've written your slides, driven to where you're doing the presentation, done the presentation, driven home, it can be quite a long day, and you only ever can present to that small group of people who turn up at the event you're doing. So with all of these online training things now, I've been able to present a VAT course to members of the Chartered Institute of Taxation, and there were 370 people signed up. You know, in real life, you'd only ever get 20 or 30 people who could make it that day and who live locally. So it's opening the world up to a much wider audience. And it's also made me think more about staffing in future. There's only me at the moment because this is a fairly new company, but I have been thinking that at some point I need to take somebody on. And it's made me think, well, actually, I don't need them to physically be in an office with me. It's nice if they will be sometimes, because I think, you know, you do miss people, and sometimes you only learn things by hearing other people do them or by seeing someone working on it. But I don't think there's a need anymore for 100% of the working time to be in the same room and to be together. So that opens it up and means that the people who could apply for jobs could be people with lots of different circumstances who want to work in different places, different hours, have different responsibilities. So it's actually opened up so many opportunities and so many exciting things. And I am looking forward to seeing real humans again, but there's definitely a lot of lessons learned through this that will keep going forward. So I hope that's been useful to you. Thanks very much. I am Hilary Bevan from Bevan VAT Consultancy. Thank you.